a different concept with this video. I'm really excited to share it with you. This is going to be like a haul, review, tutorial, all rolled into one on a few different products from Benefit. What sparked this all were some questions about an older product in the line that I had never picked up called Dr. Feelgood. So I'll explain more on that as the video goes along. But as I was browsing Ulta's website to pick that up because it's not sold in my local store, I was stumbling across all these other kind of older products from Benefit's line that I feel like I've missed out on over time. You know, I think as the YouTube beauty world got all started up, we tend to be really on top of the new things that come out, but sometimes you miss those like older classic products from certain lines. So don't be surprised if you see me start doing more videos like this, because I think it's really compelling to learn more about some of those classic products that certain brands probably like built themselves on. As far as Benefit is concerned, I'm pretty sure one of their first products, if not the first, was Eddington, and I've talked about these before on my blog. I've reviewed the different tints and beams. I really like them, but that's not in this video because I had already tried that one. But let's just jump in and I'll tell you about what I got, how it's been working for me, and show you some little demos too. But one of the things I decided to check out was this little duo of the Benefit Boi-ing concealer and also the Eye Bright. I think those are two products that have been around in this line for quite some time. I had tried the Boi-ing concealer, I think, in some other face kit quite a while ago, and I kind of wanted to refresh my memory on that. It came in a little box like this. The Boi-ing is in shade 02, so keep that in mind. I don't think there were any other options on that. And then the Eye Bright is like a really light pinky colored cream. Benefit actually has some really good concealers in their line. I am a huge fan of the Erase Paste. I've talked about that a lot. I love the salmon-y tone. It works really well for correcting the melasma that I have kind of on top of my cheekbones / under eye area. In comparison, the Boi-ing concealer is a much drier consistency. While I think it has really good coverage, it's not really my favorite thing to get up around lines and creases that I may have around my eye area. But today, first off, I had put on kind of a, you know, medium coverage type foundation. It was the L'Oreal Visible Lift Blur. So that's what I had on my face first, and then when I go to start applying this, I just used my finger to kind of warm up this concealer a bit, break it down a little bit on my skin as I patted it in. As far as the melasma that you can still see, you know, it did a pretty good job of covering that up actually. Like I said, just not my most favorite texture. Didn't do quite as well coverage wise as the Erase Paste does, but still pretty good, and did a fine job around other areas of my skin like my nose where I wanted to conceal some redness. It was great there. And then for the Eye Bright, I feel like this consistency is very similar to the Boi-ing concealer. You know, it's just a little bit dry. And so since I was really trying to get into my little caverns on the innermost parts of my eyes, I used a brush to help me get it in there. And just brightened a little bit around the tear duct. I took it up under my eyebrow as well. And you know, it did okay there. I'm not really complaining about the finished effect that I got. I do think a lot of brands now are coming out with more eye brightening products. I know Milani has a great like double-ended brow highlighter type tool, and it's really easy to use. It's really inexpensive, and I think I like it just as well as something like this. So my overall opinion here on this duo, you know, a good coverage concealer, not my favorite concealer from Benefit, but definitely something I'll continue to work in from time to time, maybe with other products. Now the next thing that I wanted to try that I had actually seen in action from Huda Beauty, she is gorgeous. Check out her channel. I will link below to the video where she demonstrates using the Lemonade. And this product is actually called a color correcting eyelid primer, but the way she was using it in a video, and what got me really like intrigued and inspired to want to try it myself, she used it kind of like a highlighting tool on her face. She just dabbed it like right in here, right on the sides of her nose, and I think it served as color correction for redness, but it also really like brought that area forward, highlighted it, and just in contrast to the rest of her skin, it made that area look so nicely brightened. So I wanted to do the same thing. You can see it is a pale yellow color. There's no shimmer in this. It's just a creamy consistency product. It feels a little bit creamier to me than the texture of that Boi-ing concealer and the Eye Bright that I just mentioned, but I have used this for its intended purpose, which is as a color corrective base. And it has worked great in that respect for me. You know, if you've got that little bit of redness on your lids, or if you've got some veins and discoloration on your lids, this really wipes that out quickly. This has a lot of coverage in it, actually. But then, like Huda said, I also patted this basically on that area on top of my cheeks, on the sides of my nose, and kind of patted it in with my fingers. Also, I find a flat foundation brush can be kind of handy to help you blend that in without over blending. You know, you don't want to mess up the concealer that's underneath it, but I think it gives a really nicely brightened look. And I'm not one who really loves contouring the sides of my nose, but if I also just put a little bit of this down my nose, a little bit on my chin, it's like even before you've contoured anything on your face, just the contrast of this with your natural skin tone, it gives such a nice effect. And then if you feel like that's looking too dramatic for you, or I would really advise this anyway, you know, just set it with a light amount of powder and go on with your bronzer or your blush. That's what I did to complete the face look, and I really like the way it came off. So I'm very happy with that Lemonade product. And again, this is the kind of thing that I think has been part of Benefit's line for a long time, but I've just kind of overlooked it, you know, grabbed for the newer things, you know, the latest releases, but this is a gem. Another total product success for me from Benefit's line, and it's definitely one of those why did I wait kind of products, because I know I've seen this like years ago, and it's the Big Beautiful Eyes Eye Contour Kit. Really, if you glance at this on the website, I don't know that it really comes off as that spectacular, but when you see it in person, and hopefully my video can do it somewhat justice, these eyeshadows are absolutely a dream to work with. They're all so soft. They're great shades. I feel like they're super flattering on my eyes. And this is just a nice little kit if you don't really care to have all the options that like a giant palette gives you. You just want, okay, what's that quick look, no-brainer look that gives me the 3 shades I need to throw it together and go. And it looks so beautiful every time. This middle shade here is like a rosy taupe. That's the shade that completely won me over, but the pearly color is great. The matte brown is just a perfect dark matte brown. Plus, you know that crazy Boi-ing concealer in shade 02 that I mentioned at the start of the video? That's in here as well. Basically, in the instructions, they just say use that first and get rid of your under eye circles and then go on with your eye look. Now, I'm not super pumped about the fact that there is concealer right next to eyeshadows that could create a little fallout and possibly get into my concealer. I don't love that idea. But the same assessment of this concealer applies to as what I said earlier, you know, kind of thick, good coverage, might be a little drying around the eye area, but if you've wanted to try it, you know, you could get it in this kit and try both the eyeshadows and the concealer. It does come with some little applicators that are usable, one that you could use as like a tiny concealer brush, or maybe, you know, right around the inner corners of your eye. And then you've got a very soft brush here that you could use to apply shadow all over your lid. And then finally a very stiff liner type brush. I would have preferred that that be cut at an angle just because I think it's a little easier to use, but you know, it's in there. I've been playing with this for a few weeks now. I was wearing it in my Best in Beauty video, if you were wondering what was on my eyes there. And I wanted to show you in this video my favorite way to use these shades. It's so easy, you guys. Like, really simple. So here's what I do. I take that middle shade, the rosy taupe, apply that just all over your lid with like a flat brush. Then take a fluffier brush. I use my Sigma E25 with that same shade and get that all up in your crease. And just work it up as high as you feel comfortable, depending on the amount of space you got between like your eye and your eyebrow. Next, I grab a different fluffy brush and go into the highlight shade. This is my Sigma E40, and I use that right up under the eyebrow. Also, you can just dab a little bit of that on your innermost corner for some added brightness there. And then the matte brown. Love using this with my Sonia Kashuk small shadow brush. I pat a little bit of that in that outermost corner, and then, you know, maybe go back to a fluffy brush like the Sigma E25 and just add a little bit to the outer part of the crease just to deepen things up slightly. And then on the lower lash line, I'm smudging some of that dark brown on the outer corner and then smudging the rest of the way in with that rosy taupe shade. To finish the look, I do nude liner on the inner rim, some black liquid liner on the upper lash line, do mascara if you want to, do false lashes if you want to, but the finished look I think is just so flattering. I know many of us love our large palettes. I'm probably one of the biggest palette freaks out there, but still these quick, easy, no-brainer type trios that just, you know, you can count on every time are great to stumble across. So I'm so glad that that one worked out. Finally, the whole motivation behind this haul to begin with was the Dr. Feelgood product. This is another older product in Benefit's line, and the reason why I was asked about this was in my Colorless makeup must-haves video. I had mentioned right at the tail end how much I like Mally's Poreless Face Defender. You know, it's a clear product, kind of like a solid gel type consistency. You can pat it on your skin after you've gotten shiny, and it's like it doesn't give any added weight to your skin. It doesn't give any appearance of product on your skin, but it just kind of perfects everything. And so after mentioning that, several people asked, have you tried Benefit's Dr. Feelgood, and if so, how does that compare to Mally's? And the description on this product, it says this silky refiner blended with vitamin C and E helps to mattify, shine, smooth away the appearance of fine lines. So same kind of claims, same goal basically as Mally's product. And this says it's a colorless, weightless miracle worker to use, pat, and smooth under or over makeup with its accompanying sponge or wear it alone. So yes, it comes in a little tin. I think the packaging is adorable. Here's the sponge, and then here's the product. So as opposed to being completely clear, this does have that balm type appearance. When I pat my finger in it, or if I were to swirl my finger in it, I can see the product on my finger. See that kind of whitish looking residue that just patting into it gives you. So texture-wise, it seems to be a creamier product than Mally's, and then when I rub it between my fingers, it definitely goes to a totally dry, like classic feel of something that goes cream to powder. You know what I mean? Completely dries out between your fingertips. I have been using this consistently at the end of the day to try to see what kind of effect this has on the shine I will develop on my T-zone. So I'll take my sponge, I'll dab into it a little bit, and then just dab it right on my nose or wherever the issue is. It always mattifies. It totally delivers on that claim, but I can't help but notice the fact that I feel like it's removing some makeup from my skin. I don't know if it's that this is a thicker product, but as I dab it on, it's like it's not just doing something about the oil, but when I get a good close look at my nose, it's like it takes on a bit of a patchy appearance, and it wasn't like my makeup was totally broken down before I started to apply this. So yay for being able to mattify, but I don't love what it does to the overall appearance of my skin after I use it. What's unique about Mally's is that it's such a thin texture, and it is totally clear. It's like you're able to get the bare minimum amount of product on your skin and still get a positive effect from it. It takes away the shine, but it does not alter the look of your makeup one bit. With any other similar product that I've tried, I think the issue is that it's too creamy, or there's too much product getting picked up, and then it's not totally looking flawless on my skin afterwards. So hopefully this video just gave you some insight on some of these different products from Benefit that aren't necessarily front and center on YouTube all the time. And I just had a lot of fun, you know, trying some new things, discovering some new products for myself. I think the biggest hits for me out of these 4 things that I talked about, definitely the Lemonade, really enjoying that, and the Big Beautiful Eyes palette. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this from other brands, and thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.